We're all familiar with the language used to discuss and characterize Latin American immigrants, and examples of it are everywhere. In his presidential candidacy announcement speech, Donald Trump said that Mexican immigrants are, quote-unquote, bringing drugs and bringing crime. He topped this mass generalization off by calling an entire group of people rapist. You heard correctly. Your sweet abuelita is actually a gun-toting, drug-smuggling narco-trafficker who enjoys forcing herself on people in her free time. But did you know that there's actually a name for this demonizing language? It's called the Latino threat narrative. In his 2008 book, The Latino Threat: Constructing Immigrant Citizens in the Nation, Dr. Leo Chavez breaks the narrative down into three tenets: invasion, reconquest, and the Quebec model. The narrative's first aspect is that Latin American immigrants are invading the United States. Trump's plan to expand the wall between the United States and Mexico and the chants of "build the wall" often heard at Trump campaign rallies reflect this concept. This language casts Latin American immigrants as invaders that are no different than the nomads that periodically invaded the Chinese Empire before the Great Wall of China was constructed to keep them out. The narrative's second aspect, reconquest, goes all the way back to the tensions that arose between Mexico and the United States because of the 1836 Texas Revolution and the Mexican-American War. The U.S. eventually annexed Texas, and after losing the war, Mexico then gave all land north of the Rio Grande to the U.S. in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. For whatever reason, some people think that Mexican immigrants are trying to take back the land that once belonged to Mexico. It seems a little bit paranoid if you ask me. The final tenet is the Quebec model, which revolves around the idea that once Latin Americans have flooded the country, they will cite cultural and, more importantly, linguistic differences as a reason to create their own nation. The Latino threat narrative has also surfaced in the academic and news media spheres. In a 2004 foreign policy article titled "The Hispanic Challenge," Harvard professor Samuel P. Huntington wrote, "Demographically, socially, and culturally, the reconquista of the Southwest United States by Mexican immigrants is well underway." He also claimed that the influx of Latin American, and specifically Mexican immigrants, is, quote, "the single most immediate and most serious challenge to America's traditional identity." Apparently, intelligence and bigotry can go hand in hand. A March 2004 Business Week cover read, "Hispanics are an immigrant group like no other. Their huge numbers are changing old ideas about assimilation. Is America ready?" The cover expressed people's fears that the influx of Latin American immigrants would change American culture and identity for the worst. And just like that, the Latino threat narrative has infiltrated American politics, academia, and media. It's unfortunate that the language used to create immigration policies and win elections is so blatantly rooted in fear and paranoia.
Created using Powtoon.